Hey folks, I'm Mark Smith, host of the Four Boxes Diner. For those of you new to the channel, I'm a constitutional attorney, a member of the United States Supreme Court Bar, a proud gun owner, and I'm also proud to say that in 2021, a federal judge, Roger Benitez in California, relied in part on my scholarship to conclude that California's so-called assault weapon ban was unconstitutional under the Second Amendment. And if you support the Second Amendment, please subscribe to this channel and help us spread the word on YouTube and beyond. In other videos on this channel, we've talked a lot about how Ukraine was not properly prepared, in my opinion, for the Russian invasion because they did not adequately have an armed citizenry like we have here in the United States. But I want to talk about another country that you may not have noticed what's been going on over there and what the Prime Minister said, and that is the country of Israel. You see, this story, which has really gone under the radar here, is really important, I think, for gun rights and for teaching us about the importance of an armed citizenry and thwarting, among other things, terrorism, foreign invasions, and other terrible things that can happen to your citizens. Here's what happened. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett told the citizens of Israel just a couple weeks ago the following, quote, "This is the time to carry a gun." In fact, Prime Minister Bennett of Israel has urged all Israelis who are licensed to carry guns in public going forward. All right, he's also encouraged people to apply for gun licenses in Israel. I'm going to link to some stories below about this. Now, what caused this is there's been apparently a recent series of terrorist attacks in Israel. And as a result of that, if you read what the media is saying over there, gun license applications have been skyrocketing, at least according to media outlets like Israel Today. Now, Prime Minister Bennett was actually quoted as saying in an address to the whole country, quote, "Citizens of Israel, we are currently experiencing a wave of murderous terrorism. What is expected of you, citizens of Israel? Alertness and responsibility. Open your eyes. Whoever has a license to carry a weapon, this is the time to carry it." Well, that's a very informed quote by the Prime Minister of Israel, saying that, if you have a firearm lawfully, you should carry it now to help protect yourself and fellow citizens in that country. According to Israel Today, the Prime Minister and his security cabinet have been discussing ways to improve public safety in the wake of these horrific attacks, and more than once the idea of a volunteer civilian force has been floated. I wonder what a volunteer civilian force might be considered today. Perhaps a well-regulated militia necessary for the security of a free state? I don't know. Inquiring minds want to know. But set that issue aside. It turns out what has motivated, again, this request for people to carry guns in public in Israel was a stabbing in a major city over there in which 4 people were killed. And how was the attack stopped? Well, it turns out that the terrorist who killed these people was shot dead by 2 people, an Israeli bus driver and apparently another civilian. And by the way, it appears from the various news reports that I will link to down below that Israelis are in fact taking the advice of Prime Minister Bennett, and they are indeed applying for public carry permits at a much higher rate than they were before these attacks and before the Prime Minister's request. To wrap up, I think it's interesting that Israelis understand the value of armed citizens carrying firearms in public to protect the society from evildoers and terrorists who would do law-abiding innocents harm. And I think what's also important is the fact that we here in America should learn from what happens overseas. Just like I've talked about the importance of Americans learning from what I consider to be the mistakes of Ukraine in preparing or failing to prepare adequately for the Russian invasion, I think we can learn from other countries. And what I think we can learn here, remember we've talked about this concept before, dumb people do not learn from their own mistakes. Smart people learn from their own mistakes. And wise people learn from the mistakes of others. I want the people who watch this channel to be wise, wealthy and wise. And as a consequence, I want you to learn from the mistakes and the successes of other people around the world. Well, I hope you learned something here at the Four Boxes Diner. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time here at the Four Boxes Diner.
Orders up. Table 2A.